Goldman Sachs chief David Solomon was at the White House this summer pitching President Trump on why his bank should lead a huge coming deal, the initial public offering of mortgage giants Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. Midway through the presentation, Trump invited a group of athletes from his Council on Sports and Fitness. Solomon continued speaking as President Trump, wrestler Triple H, and golfer Bryson DeChambeau looked on. It was surreal meeting, befitting what is perhaps the strongest IPO back-off ever. All the major banks have been working to land roles on what could be one of the largest stock offerings in history. In doing so, the banks are wrestling with a host of novel issues thanks to the unpredictability of Trump and the complicated nature of taking government-backed entities public. The winners stand to earn not only hefty fees, but bragging rights for having worked on a deal that could reap the government billions of dollars. Everyone wants to be on this. One top bank executive said the CEOs of the country's 6 largest banks, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Bank of America, JPMorgan, Chase, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo, have all made pilgrimages to the White House. They have counted Trump and others involved. They have courted Trump and others involved, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Federal Housing Finance Agent Chief Bill Pulte, and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Trump officials have fielded calls from smaller investment banks too. Tom, what is going on here?
Well, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the two basically mortgage purchasers, and they're part of the federal government. One was created in 1938. That was Fannie Mae. And then in 1970s, Freddie Mac was created to give competition to Fannie Mae. And they also wanted some help for thrifts and S&Ls. And then shortly thereafter, we had this whole debacle with the S&Ls. We all know how that party ended. Not that Freddie was part of it, but it was a wild time, Wild West. So you have these two entities that are out there. And when you hear about a mortgage, you say, well, that's a conforming mortgage or a jumbo mortgage. These are the ones that help set those standards for those mortgage sizes. But they're out there, and they want to take them public. And there's a question of, do they go public independently, which is like what the National Mortgage Association, I think, National NMBS, I think, National Mortgage Banking Association wants. And then there's people saying, put them together, like Bill Ackman. He's a big proponent of the Great American Mortgage Corporation. Put them both together, take them public. Here's the prize. Do you know what the fees are for this? I added up the fees based on a 3.5% all-in banking fee. It's over $1 billion in fees for a single IPO, and the math on the IPO is $300 billion.
At least.
That's $1 billion.
At least. That's the low end of the range.
That's the low end of it. And so basically you have, I think they're called, what does GES stand for? It's the government something institution.
It's right there, Rob. If you just had it. If you go back to where you were.
Government-sponsored enterprise.
Yes. So sponsored.
Yep.
Yeah, the operative word there. Yep.
And so now it's going to be an independent corporation that is on the stock market. So you could see the rise and fall of its stock price is going to be rising and falling with the mortgage market. So right now, you would assume in the future, with what's going on right now with interest rates and a number of mortgages, number of refis going on, probably a flat stock price right now. But what's really interesting about this is a bunch of money that goes to the federal government, and then this GES, government-sponsored enterprise, becomes this public company. I think what's going to win, in my opinion, I think what'll ultimately, probably just rolling them into one and doing it, because the legacy, one was created so long ago, 1938, one in 1970, and they don't really do things different. I think they've both adopted, Eric, I think they've both adopted the same mortgage limits now. I think they use the same limits on what's a jumbo and not a jumbo. But this is pretty interesting, and so everybody's running to the trough to get a piece of it. And it's kind of funny. David Solomon, Goldman Sachs should be the one, Mr. President, that takes this thing public. I got a lot of respect for David Solomon, but can you imagine him sitting in the White House?
Triple H walks in.
I got some friends here too. Hey, come listen to what we're doing with mortgages. Triple H, Bryson, David. David's also a DJ at night. Okay, continue. What were you saying? To me, that'd be kind of funny. Be like, wait, what am I doing here?
It's honestly, it's a way of saying, look, man, I'm meeting with a lot of powerful people. Okay, like pump the brakes. But go ahead, Triple H. What do you got? Okay, what do you want to do? I think Trump is doing what Trump does. Eric, your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are it probably would be closer to $500 billion IPO. I think anytime we can get any entity off the government books is I love the idea. I'm concerned that Solomon petitioning the Trump administration for probably $1 billion, maybe closer to $1.5 billion in fees to bring this entity public, which, on a $500 billion IPO, not a lot, but someone's going to get paid. My concern is that Trump wants to take a piece of this too, right? So he wants the government to somehow stay involved, not unlike he did with Intel, where he took government, like it or not, U.S. government, you taxpayers own 10% of Intel. I don't love this because it's a slippery slope. I understand what he's doing, but you're not always going to have a President Trump, and you just might get a liberal president one day.
You will.
And if they start picking winners and losers, solar, water and clean air,
lithium
bullshit.
mines last week.
If you start getting government involved in private industry, you're going to hurt the industry. You're also likely going to take it on the chin someday. And a liberal president invests, I don't know, $20 billion in a company, it starts going south, what are they going to do? Of course, they're going to turn around, and if a bunch of them, and just raise their taxes. Less control over the free market, the better for me. So yeah, get Fannie and Freddie off the government books.
Brandon.
Yes, this is another disaster created by FDR and the New Deal. Under FDR, the thing is created, and now they own 50% of the mortgages in the United States. And since 2008, when they got bailed out, the Treasury owns 80% of the common stock of Freddie and Fannie. So yeah, I agree. I definitely think it's a good thing to get that off the government's books and onto the private market. But it reminds me of how the government started subsidizing student loans because they want everybody to have the ability to get a student loan. So I am just getting into this whole thing now, but I'm wondering if this pushed up the entire housing market artificially because it's giving access to mortgages to people who wouldn't otherwise qualify if it was just standard banks giving these mortgages. So I don't even know if these are good, necessary institutions because since it was created by FDR, everything that FDR created, I question. So good thing that Trump is getting it off their books. I agree it's bad for the government to own things, so I hope he doesn't do that. But I'm questioning the existence of these institutions from the beginning.
Yeah. So, folks, if you have an FDR shirt, please send it to Brandon. Gang, before we get into it, two things. Number one, see this shirt I'm wearing with the Valuetainment logo here and the future looks bright? I have probably 30 shirts in my closet. My wife says, babe, these shirts are my favorites. When you wear them once, okay, you're going to see how it feels, how smooth it is. You're going to feel like someone's hugging you all day, telling you how awesome you are, okay? If you haven't yet ordered, I think some of the sizes are gone, but we do still have some left. This is the business show that we're talking about here. You got them in white with the gold logo, Future Looks Bright, on the bottom of the shirt. You got them in black, which looks great, and you got them in blue. Black goes with gold, and we have the blue as well. You may as well order all three of them if you are somebody that's in business and you're regularly wearing business shirts. And then we got some of that blue jacket that's left and that whole business series that's going to be there. Now, you can go to vtmerch.com to place your order. Number two, if you're with us right now and you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, we have a circle on Manak dedicated to just business owners. Okay, it's going to be called the PBD. It's called the PBD Entrepreneur Circle. There's a ton of networking going on there. If you haven't yet joined the circle, download the app, go to PBD Entrepreneur Circle, get in there. We're talking ideas, notes, PDFs, different things that I do. I post all this stuff in here, and you can join for free to see what we're talking about. And if you want to be able to network and message each other, it's $5 a month for you guys to be able to talk to each other in that circle. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.